crew, and welcome to the live today where I've got some beautiful faces joining me. These are some of the amazing people I work closely with in my VIP mentorship program, and we're here to talk to you about the latest tips and tricks that we're using in relation to Reels, TikTok, and stories. So short form micro video content is definitely something that you should be embracing. Isn't that right, guys? If you're not already, it's definitely something in your marketing mix, your social media mix that's working really well for various reasons. Life is very busy and people want short, micro sort of content. So we're testing and trialing things all the time with Reels, with TikToks, with stories. So I've just got these amazing people here today. We've got Beth Frederick, Laurie Endres, Yvette Gurrell, Cherie Woodard, and we've got Steve McNeil and Mail in the house to just share what they're doing and what they're using that's working for us in our businesses right now. So thank you for joining me, guys. If you just want to say hello.
Hello.
And I'll get around to those in a moment. So the first thing I want to start with in relation to all of those sort of avenues of stories, Reels, and TikTok. I've seen a lot change over the last sort of 5 or 6 months. And that's the reason, if you haven't seen any posts going up just recently, I am doing a TikTok boot camp again later this month in just over a couple of weeks' time, because I've been on TikTok quite regularly and I've learned a lot over the last sort of 5 months. So I'm bringing all that information to you guys in a couple of weeks. So make sure when you see the information come out next week for the TikTok Bootcamp 2.0 that you're registered for that. It's completely for free. What I've noticed in stories, Reels, and TikTok, though, is although to get started, using trending sounds can still work and can help you get familiar with the features and get on those, platforms as such and go and have a play. It's less about trending sounds and it's more about you and your voice on your particular niche topic. So what I've mainly been doing on TikTok is dropping all the trending stuff that I used to do, and I'm just talking about my particular niche topic. I still think that there is scope for everybody on stories to do more of that. So less kind of scripted things and more of you. You are your brand, crew. You are what people gravitate to. If they don't warm to you, if they don't like you, if they don't think you're a cool person, if they don't think you're entertaining, if they don't think you're valuable in some way, they're not going to buy products off you or join you in your business. So the more that you can show up authentically, genuinely from your mouth, your talking, your perspective, I would highly recommend you embrace more of that moving forward and less of the trends. I'm not saying don't do trends. And if trends help fill in the gaps for you, you do some trends and you do some sort of talking ones, that's fine. But the more that you can do that is genuinely, authentically your topic of choice, your niche area, and you turn up and you give value and you give entertainment, but it's coming from your mouth, you're speaking it. You don't even need to have music in the background anymore. If you do, that's okay, but it's not as important anymore as really just showing up and giving a lot of value. So that's really what I'm seeing is working better for myself and other people that are using these avenues of stories, TikTok and Reels, is less of the trends and more of your voice. Okay, so I would really encourage you to go out and do more of that, and you'll get better results from that. It creates so many more conversations. I've just got back from Bali this week. I've been away for a couple of weeks. I wasn't really that active on my TikToks as I normally am because I was doing them every day. I didn't do them every day while I was away. I did a few, but not every day. But the conversations and my following have still grown because of the TikToks that I've done previously where I'm sharing my voice, I'm sharing my experience, I'm sharing my value. So I'm still having a lot of conversations from people that are following my TikTok and, following, and, the one of them's hit over 200,000 while I was away. Like I didn't even try. So it's still growing. My audience is still growing. The conversations are still happening, even though I was a little bit quieter while I was away. But it's because of the information that people are going back and watching, and it's genuine and it's helpful. Okay. So let's move on. Beth, what do you recommend as, what's working now?
Hi, everyone. My tip for Reels and Stories and TikToks and what's really working well now is about creating that attention right at the beginning. We know that social media is really busy and people scrolling through Reels. I do it myself. The Reels, the Stories, the TikToks is capturing their attention first thing. We only have a few seconds. And I really believe that it's essential because people, I guess, are bombarded with social media. And I think having a clear headline or hook right in the beginning is really important. And it's important for me when I'm creating my micro videos that I'm clear and specific about conveying something that I'm talking about. It's about setting that tone, I think, and sparking interest, making them curious and making them want to look further into our content or our message. And having those, I don't know what you call them. Do you call them TikTok covers, or labels with a headline? I wasn't doing them at first, but now that I'm doing that, I'm getting more engagement because that's what's capturing their attention. The powerful language that I may use that creates curiosity or excitement, addressing someone's needs or their desires or their problems or their hopes and dreams. And just for an example in the health and wellness space, something like, do you struggle with sleepless nights? Discover how I get a good night's sleep. Or, struggling with the digestive issue, here's my secret to a happy and healthy gut. Just starting off with a little struggle or pain and ending it with a solution, because that's what they see right at the beginning. And I think if you don't have some type of attention grabber or hook in your videos, in your micro videos, it's a higher chance that I do that if something doesn't die. But chances are, if there's a good hook, that what I'm interested in, I'm going to watch the whole thing. So that's my tip for today. And what's working now for me is just having that hook and having that headline. Thanks, Ellen.
So important. When people ask me to review or have a look at their Reels or have a look at their TikToks, if you don't have, if you're missing, and I think Beth had that, it's like, well, where are your covers? You absolutely need a cover. So when we say cover, it's just the thing that's the wording that sits on the front of your micro video content. And that's what we call the intention grabber or the hook. There are a lot of people now doing micro video content. So you're fighting for attention from everybody else that's doing it as well. You've got to get really good at attention grabbers. What we have that's working now, which we didn't have even a year ago, is programs like ChatGPT to give you those attention grabbers. You don't even have to come up with them yourself. You can go to the program, create a free account in ChatGPT, type in there, give me 10 attention grabbers for my TikToks or Reels. So ChatGPT will know that they have to be in short, or you could say in 5 words or less, give me 10 attention grabbers or hooks for my TikTok videos or my Reels about gut health, or, whatever it is that you are talking about. So you don't even need to have the brain space to come up with it yourself. You can use a program like that to create those hooks and attention grabbers for you. So very important. Thank you for that, Beth. Couldn't agree more. And these are the tools that you've got at your disposal now, like ChatGPT, to help you utilize these things that are working right now. Do not create any reel or any TikTok without a cover, without a hook. Okay? Miss Laurie, what have you got for us?
Well, my tip that I have kind of falls along the same line as Beth in, having that cover. But the point of having that cover, aside from having the words and the attention grabber, is that when people are scrolling, if you have something that looks the same every time you put a TikTok up, whether it's your cover, a certain color, just as an example, if I were to say, all right, all right, all right, do y'all know who I'm talking about?
Matthew McConaughey.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I get text messages from a program that I was in a couple of years ago with a couple, and he starts everything with, hey, hey. I don't even have to look at the text message to know that that's coming from him. And I choose then, okay, do I have time to look at that right now or move on? But I know who it is. So it doesn't have to be like earth shattering. I mean, it can literally, wear a hat, put a flower in your hair, make, when you open up the TikTok and you first start talking, maybe have 2 or 3 words that you say every single time. Or when you sign off, do the same thing. And people will get to the point where either they like that, and they look forward to it, or they don't. If they don't, that's fine. They're not your folks.
Yeah.
But if they do, then they'll look for that, right? So it falls along the same line as branding, I guess, really. But what I see people doing now is being a lot more creative with the initial grab and then how they're wrapping things up at the end. So that's my tip.
Yeah, thanks for that, Laurie. That's really important. And I want to just build on that for a second, because something that I've learned to do over the time that I've been on TikTok particularly is the first few words. So you've got what Beth was talking about. You've got your attention grabber. Then the first few words of speaking are reiterating whatever the cover is. So if you're struggling with as such and such, I've got 5 tips for you for XYZ. So you reiterate from your voice what was written on your cover. So you lead in with what it is that you're talking about. Then you go into that intro that is the same every time. So what I've learned to do on my TikToks over the last sort of few months, I've changed my strategy a little bit in so that when I've got my cover, which is telling people what it's about, then my very first sentence is, if you're struggling with, or, whatever, if you want to know more about, then I've got 5 tips for you, whatever it is that I'm saying. Then I'll stop and I'll say, hi, my name's Helen, and I've that bit of my story, like in a matter of seconds, and I like to share how I've done that here. And then I go into my content. So you've got your cover, which Beth talked about. You've got your first kind of lead-in sentence, but you're saying something. So what I've been doing is saying that same thing, Laurie, what you're saying about is the same thing on every single video. So people that are watching me know exactly what I'm about, what I help people with, what I'm there to show up with, and I'm saying the same thing on every single video after I've said the quick sentence about what it is I'm talking about for that day. So I couldn't agree more, Laurie, with micro video content. And this might seem a bit weird to recommend, because people think, oh, I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again. You have to with micro video content. You have to say the same thing to really cut through. So you want to be very clear about who you help. So that's the branding piece that Laurie was talking about. Very clear about what kind of advice that you're giving people and value. If you can do it in an entertaining way, even better. But you say that same message over and over and over and over again in a matter of short seconds. That's what's working now. If every video you do is on something completely different or a different version of something, you're not going to get as much traction as if you're saying what it is that you're talking about, and then, hey, it's Helen, I've done this and I like to share how I've done that here. And that you say that every single time, and then you go into your content. That's definitely what's working now. Awesome. Thanks, Laurie. Yvette, what have you got for us?
Okay, I got everybody and everything. Hi, everybody. Sorry. So what do I have for you today? I have for you, from your stories are your links. There is a feature in your story with that little loop, that's your connection to your where you're taking folks. So a lot of folks are not using that link. And that is something that I found out, and I've been using that link ever since I found out in all my stories. And even when you post pictures, wherever there is that link. So once you open up your phone and you put a picture, there's that link. So use that link. So in the stories, in their TikToks, in Instagram, we want to make sure that we are linking the folks, sending them somewhere. It's like our call to action. Where do I want them to go after I've given them all that fabulous information? Talk about me, talk about the brand, and talk about all that, what we want them to have. We want to send them somewhere. Now, I've learned that in Instagram, you want to post your link twice. You want to, it's like reiterating, okay, if you want to do so and so and so, here's a link, and then you go again, and then here's a link. So post it twice if you have that option. Because why do we want to do that? As Helen just said, we want to let them know over and over and over. We cannot say it enough. Because something, repetition is the mother of invention. We want them to remember. We want them to remember. It's like memorizing that particular thing. And so because we're here on social media and it's so busy, and we want to make sure that we stand out from the crowd, we want to show our creativity like Beth. We want to make sure that we are measuring up with, giving our audience what they want. We want to make sure that they know, okay, here's one particular feature that you can use and enhance your stories, enhance your reels, enhance your TikTok. On TikTok, it's a little different, of course, and I'm still learning TikTok, but I try to make sure that every post I make, there is a link to my link tree, which is an outside off. But what I like about these features is that we get so much even in the app and the stories on Instagram, on TikTok, so many features, the filters and all of that. Because what are they doing for us? They're helping us to enhance our content so that we now can become that creator that has a particular crafted content. And folks are going to be looking for it. Like Lori said, she said, hoo la la, but they know that when they see this particular thing coming from a particular post, they said, oh, that's Beth, that's Cherie, they use it. That's like your unique brand. So I want to encourage everybody today to use the link. I have had so many people responding to the links from my stories. When I go out, I post my pictures, I add my link to my link tree, letting them know why I'm here doing this particular thing for this particular purpose. Links them to my, my business over there. So post your link, and on Instagram, post it twice. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Yvette. And really what Yvette's, sharing is the importance of a call to action, in generally as well. So the link is one way to have a call to action, but you've got to lead people somewhere. There's no point in being on social media and giving even like heaps of entertainment or heaps of value if you're not asking people to do something or take them somewhere. So you might be, if you've got the link feature, like on an Instagram story or something like that, or you're linking people to, or you're saying, grab the link in my bio, or, whatever the platform is and how that looks for you regarding sharing, the link. Obviously, you need to tailor that to the platform that you're on. But also, as well as that, you want to send people somewhere. Now, you might not want to send somebody to a particular link in a story or a TikTok or a reel or something, but you might want to ask them to follow you. So you could easily just say, make sure you're following me for more information about XYZ, and you're reiterating your brand. So every time, whether it's an actual link that you're sending people to click on, or whether it's a call to action or a comment below, or, put the word energy down below if you'd like more information on this product, like tell people what you want them to do. Give them that call to action. I have for a long time on TikTok, I got very caught up in I branded myself this way and now I'm rebranding this way. So I need to kind of educate my audience and I'm going to take them on a journey. And I even forgot to say, make sure you continue to follow me for more information about. I just wasn't saying it. I was just sharing information. The good thing about it is it was easy to do. It's very easy once you share your journey and you know what value you want to give, just to show up and talk for a couple of minutes and then post it. But I've missed a lot of opportunities by not saying on a lot of those videos, make sure you're following me so you continue on this journey and I can continue to help you with XYZ. I'm a bit better at it now, but it's a habit. It's just a habit you need to get into. So whether it's a habit of including links or a habit of asking people to put a word down below or a habit of asking people to follow you, you've got to do that these days to get people to take action, because we are in a busy world, busy platforms, micro video content everywhere. People need to be told what to do. So really important that you include something at the end of everything, even if it's just a soft one, like make sure you're following me for further advice about or further value regarding, but make sure those calls to action are there. Really important. I've missed some opportunities, even this year in what I've been doing on TikTok by not doing that. Okay. Miss Cherie, what have you got for us?
Hello, everyone. And I just want to talk about stories and some things that I wasn't doing and things that I found that actually work, are working now, and causing people to pay a little bit more attention to my posts and stories and the things that I post about. So one thing is, and this is something that, because I would panic every now and then, it's like, okay, the stories only last for 24 hours, but I had to remind myself of that. So it's old, but it's something that I have to remind myself about when I don't put something on there that I want, or oops, I forgot this. Oh, it's only 24 hours, Cherie. It's not going to be there forever, so don't panic. And then the other thing is that in posting in my stories, I'm more in tune to using my voice, and it's a change for me. It's something that I find that people are more drawn to, seeing your face and hearing what you have to say. So when I'm trying to educate, entertain, inspire, I've started just kind of pressing the little button and going live for like a few minutes, like not a few minutes, a few seconds actually. And I'm able to do that entertaining. I'm able to do that, a little bit of education, and to be able to share and help someone. And then I notice that my numbers, go up a little bit more. It's like for something, when they see your face and they hear your voice, people are more attracted to what it is you might be telling them. And then they may listen and actually find that it's really helpful for them. So that's something else. The other thing that I wasn't doing that I find that is also one of those things that's out there now, that's one of the latest, greatest things, is to be able to, put a product up there, and maybe not like where you're pushing product on anyone or opportunity or anything like that. But like the other day, I had my cup of coffee and I was like, I'm just going to try this. And so I was like, so I'm drinking my coffee and I have something in here that really helps my hair grow, my nails grow, that kind of thing, and I just did it. And I was like, oh, okay, so that was a really good thing to be able to do. You're not beating somebody down, but you're sharing the benefits of what it is that some of your products might do. And it might help someone. It might interest someone, or have them be open to like, ooh, what was that? I think I'm going to go back and check that out. And then the other thing is doing story sequences. And it's like you may record something that's more than the time that's allotted, but you can go and use Long Story Cutter to chop it up into whatever the seconds are that you want. So like the ones that I normally do, I'll do like 15 minutes. So especially when I put my grandbaby on there, I'm so excited about her. So I, want to make everybody else excited too. So I go and I use the Long Story Cutter and chop up some of it. And then that way they're able to see and hear her cooing, because she's cooing like nobody's business. And so it just, it just catches attention. And there were several people that commented on how beautiful and how talkative she was. Somebody even said, that child is asking for some rice. Give her some rice in her milk. So I was like, okay, I'll pass that on. But those are the things that are working now and that I'm trying and I'm liking it. So I hope that this was helpful for you. And so that's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Cherie. I think a couple of things out of that is just being a little bit braver to show up on stories organically as ourselves. Like, you're making a cup of coffee, you've got something in it, and just sharing what you're doing. It's a choice for people to watch your stories. So just get any thoughts out of your head. What are people going to think? They're choosing to watch your story. So if they don't want to watch it, they're not going to watch it. If they don't like it, they'll click off it. Their problem, not yours. Just create the content that you want, share the messages that you want, but you do need to share them over and over and over again for them really to sink in. So that's really what you need to do these days. Is it's not mentioning and getting brave once or twice or 5 times. It's every single week you're sharing a similar story, a similar theme, things that you're passionate about, things that you use, things that you love, things that are important to you, random things that are funny, whatever, but just being in your stories constantly. You'll be surprised who's watching. And that's the really cool thing about stories, is that you can look who's looking at you to know who's actually looking at you, if that makes sense. And the long story cutter, like I use that quite a lot. Like you might, stories are very short, like really short. And you might want to say something that's longer than what the platform gives you. We get a little bit more out of Facebook than Instagram, but, not a lot. You got like 15 seconds in Instagram and 20 seconds or 30 seconds in Facebook, if you're lucky. So it's not long, excuse me. So you might want to just talk for a minute on something. So just go into your video, and just video yourself, and then put it in, just upload it to an app. There's plenty of apps. That's just one of them, Long Story Cutter. And then if you want to put it in Instagram stories, just choose 15 seconds, and then you press the button, and it pops up in your camera roll in 15-second bites. For your minute video, you go and select all of them, and you just pick them up in Instagram stories and post them all, and it runs seamlessly. So instead of putting your finger on the button and talking and watching and stop talking, and then you press it on the button again and it's a little bit bitsy, if you record a video, put it through Long Story Cutter, it's going to seamlessly play for 15 seconds in the stories. So story sequences are something that I would highly recommend you embrace these days if you haven't already. It gives you more of an opportunity to share a bit more about what it is that you want to say, and it'll keep people watching. Okay, awesome. Steve, finish us off. What's working for you these days?
Well, thank you, Helen. Well, the one tip that I wanted to share with everyone today is about creating shareable and savable content. Yes. When we produce content, if it's really good content, enough to prompt that viewer to want to save it or share it with others, it's going to drive the algorithm up. Saving more than sharing, it's going to drive the algorithm higher. So we want to make sure we have really good content. This leads to increased visibility, more followers, and potentially higher engagement. So how are we going to remember how to produce, and how do we produce content that is going to be shareable or savable? Just remember the acronym EVES, E-V-E-S. When we talk about the first E, we're talking about emotional appeal. Emotional appeal is content that creates emotions such as inspiration, empathy, laughter, or joy. And when viewers see that type of information, they're going to connect with it more and want to share it because they're connecting with it at an emotional level. When we talk about V, we're referring to valuable information. And when we're talking about valuable information, everyone is looking for something that is going to be of value to them, right? So we want to make sure we give them something that is going to want or prompt them to want to save it and share it with others to help them If it's worthy for them, it's worthy for others, and then they'll share it. And again, that drives the algorithms up. When we talk about the third E, it's entertaining your audience. And if you've ever been on any one of these platforms, you know my favorite are dogs. If you have entertaining content that produces laughter, that's going to prompt people to want to share it with others, and that's going to drive the algorithm up. Now, the S stands for savable content. So here's an example. If you're only doing a 15-second video, you don't have a lot of lead time to bring up and build momentum, right? So you got to hit them hard and give them a solid impact of information where they're going to say, man, I got to go back and listen to that again. So it's going to prompt them to save it. And saving actually increases the algorithm more so than sharing it. So that's my tip. Just remember Eves, emotional appeal, valuable information, entertaining your audience, and creating content that is savable. And those are the things that I'm focusing on right now. Thank you, Helen.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. And really, really important comments there. Shareable and savable content. If you can create content like that, it's going to help you. The platforms want to find the audience for you, particularly TikTok. They want to find the right people for you. So if you are providing content, like if you've been around the block for a while and heard, a bit about branding and giving value, how many of you heard the words give value, give value, give value, give value? What you want to do with that, though, here's just a couple of examples. We could talk about this all day, but we're not. We're going to finish it off now. But here's a couple of examples to sort of implement what Steve is saying. You've got a micro video of some sort. So you're giving a lot of value that, I can talk fast, but I don't talk any faster than what I do on my micro video content because I'm trying to give a lot of information in a very short amount of time. Why? I want to over deliver the value. So they're going to save my video to their favorites because they're not going to remember all the cool stuff I just told them. So there's one way to do it. So I'm going to give you 5 quick tips of what I've done to blah, 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 blah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're talking fast. You're giving like awesome information. Again, go to ChatGPT. If you don't know your subject that well, get ChatGPT to give you the information for your subject matter. So you're delivering it really quickly and really fast. So if it's the right audience for you, they're going to want to hang on to that information, and there's no way they're going to absorb it in that like 15, 30 seconds or a minute. They're going to, how many times have you guys done that? You guys that are on the screen with me, as well as those of you that are listening, you've probably saved something because you liked the information and you're not going to remember it, but you want to go back to it later. So I get a lot of people, like I over deliver on my TikToks, so people will definitely save them. So that's a speaking one. The other example I want to share with you though is maybe you've got imposter syndrome, you don't think you're good enough, or you haven't got enough information to talk about your topic of choice, those kind of things. So you're not really confident in the speaking at the moment. What you could do is put a little image or a moving video of you in the background. So you're just moving, or you're just at your computer, you're just looking at your phone. So it's just, something with a little bit of movement, or it's a still shot. But over the top of your reel or your TikTok, or even your story, you've got all this written information on it. Like here's 5 tips, here's what I can recommend, or is this you? Do you suffer with this and this and this and this and this and this and this? And you've got so many words that are overlaid on the top of your little moving video in the background, or, a still picture. But you've deliberately timed your reel or your TikTok to be like about 5 seconds. There's no way somebody can read all of that in that time frame. So if it's something that resonates with them, if the information that you've put on there is good, they're going to save it to their favorites to reread it or to keep the information. So there's just 2 examples of how you can create savable content. And if it's really good or it's really entertaining or something, they might share it out with other people as well. Shareable and savable content is obviously what you're striving for. And as Steve said, both those things will drive, the algorithms for those platforms to find the right people for you when you are consistent with all the other things that we've talked about. The cover messages, the intro messages, like what Beth mentioned and what Laurie talked about, like what everyone's talked about here. When you get really consistent at those things, then you'll really find these platforms and these avenues through Reels and TikTok and Stories will work in your favor. So if you're not getting many results from those avenues, try some of these things that are working now that we've suggested with you today, and see if you get a little bit more traction, a few people saving your content, more engagement, the calls to action like Yvette talked about. Tell people where you want them to go, have really good covers, hooks, headlines, all those kind of things. These are the kind of things that you want to adopt now to get more traction out of your micro video content. Okay, so we're going to leave it there. I really want to thank Beth, Laurie, Yvette, Cherie, and Steve for sharing with us, all of us, what's working for them now with these particular avenues. I hope those of you that are listening and those of you that have said hello, thank you. Hello, Jennifer, Cindy. Well, Jennifer said, there you go, Steve. Jennifer's going to remember Eves. So we got one for, so well done for that, Jennifer. Hello, Laurie, great to see you on as well. So thank you, guys. If you just want to unmute for a second. Hey, Merla, great to see you on as well. I hope this was really useful and that you really take on board some of the things that we've suggested, because we're living and breathing this now, and this is what we're finding is working. So if you want to say goodbye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you all later.
Thank you so much to my co-presenters, and I hope you got value out of that today. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.